Hi, it's Chef and Builder JD Pendleton. We're back in the kitchen where I'm going to be teaching you today about how to do like meals in a jar, how to take meals camping. We're also doing my crock pot version of mac and cheese, and you'll be able to go right here and get that recipe as well. So we've got a lot going on today. We're making cream of something soups. So these are all dry mixes that you want to keep on your shelf. You just add hot water or hot milk, and you can reconstitute these dehydrated powdered goods. We're using our dehydrated vegetables and some other goodies. So come along and let's get started. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make the soup base. Now this makes cream of broccoli, cream of mushroom, cream of chicken. So this makes all kinds of starts. And it can even make a really good mushroom gravy over your steaks and stuff. And that's what I use it a lot for. So what we're going to do is you can store this in either a number 10 can. A number 10 can is like a large can with a top, like you get from like the LDS cannery or what have you. Or you can store it and vacuum seal it and store it in your half-gallon canning jar. Okay, so the first thing we're going to start with is we're going to start with 4 cups of either non-fat or whole dry milk powder. Not instant milk, but the whole milk. You can do non-fat or whole, but it must not be an instant milk. Now you'll see that I put this down inside of a bowl here. That's to capture some of these powders. This gets pretty powdery. See that? Let's see if I can't get over the top here. You know, I might have to have a funnel here. There you go. That gives me a little bit wider mouth here to work with to kind of catch some of those powders. Okay. See, it's already catching some of them. Okay, so there's 1 cup, and there's 4 cups right there. But it's by Nestle, and it has added vitamins A, C, and D, calcium, iron, and zinc added to it. And this is really great for kids' instant milk. Okay. Now. And I'm actually going to keep this container because I got some other things that I can store in this. I mean, I can store some of my dehydrated celery in here. I need 1.5 cups of cornstarch. So here's 1. And by the way, that's the way you can use arrowroot powder instead if you have a sensitivity to corn. So just use the arrowroot powder. There we go. Remember, when we make this, people ask about the directions. A lot of people won't give you the directions after they make something like this. Remember, whatever size meal in a jar that you're making, you take that mix, so it's 1 part of the mix plus 2 parts to 2 parts of water. So let's say I fill this jar up with my baking mix and it's a 1.5 pint, or even a pint jar, let's say, with the baking mix. Then you'd fill this up twice with water, or this one twice with water. So it's always 1 part mix to 2 parts water. And that's right. That's about right where you need to be to get you started. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add my onion. Now I dehydrate my own onion. And let's see what I added last time. I liked what I had last time. Last time I added 2 tablespoons. I thought that was a little much. So I'm just going to go. You can add the 2 tablespoons of the dried onion flakes. But this is my home dehydrated red onions, and it's pretty strong. So I'm just going to go with about a tablespoon and a half. I'm not going to do that full 2 tablespoons. That's pretty strong stuff right there. And here I have my own home dried thyme from my garden. And I'm just going to get out any stems, any of the larger stems. You can use the stems, but there we go. And I'm just going to add that. That's about 2 teaspoons. Remember, if it's home dehydrated, it's going to be stronger tasting. Now, if you have problems with stomach gastritis or whatever with milk, then, and since I can't have my lactose-free milk in here, I don't have lactose-free milk powder, I've got to order it. I actually have to get it out of Brazil in order to get it. And it's just taking it a while to get here. But I would add 1/4 cup of that to this, and that would make this milk powder here, it would make that lactose-free. So if you can get your hands on a lactose-free milk powder, then let me know. Leave a message below if you found it. Now, or you could even crush up a lactose-free tablet and you could add that to this as well. Now here, I'm just going to add the parsley because it helps with gastritis and with the problems of lactose in milk. So remember, we're talking about, I mean, these are good anytime, but if it's in an emergency, remember parsley, chew on a piece of parsley. They don't put that on your plate for no reason at all at the restaurant. All right, so about 1.5 teaspoons to 2 teaspoons of parsley. Now it calls for 1 tablespoon of dried basil leaves, but I'm not big on basil, so I'm only going with a teaspoon, maybe about 1.5 teaspoons. That's plenty for me. I'm not big on basil. I'm just not big on basil. I think it's a little strong, and I don't want to overpower all my other flavors from my garden herbs. Now at this point, you can either go with a beef base or you can go with a chicken base. Okay? So if you were going to do like a chicken noodle soup or cream of chicken soup, excuse me, then you'd go with a chicken base. If you're going to go with a mushroom soup, you would go with a beef base. So you're supposed to put one or the other in here at this point. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix this together, and I'm actually going to scoop some of this out before I add the chicken base to it. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in the black pepper. I'm not going to put in a lot. I'm going to put in about 1.5 teaspoons. You can go up to a tablespoon on that. Ooh, that's strong. And I like a little bit of my dehydrated garlic powder in mine. Ooh, look at that. That's going to smell up the house. And ooh, that's strong. And I'm going to put in about 1 teaspoon. Well, I'll go with a little bit more than that. That's fine. This is quite a bit here. Woo! Some sea salt. You can use the pink Himalayan salt. If I had some left, I would be using it, but I'm just going to use my regular sea salt. The reason being is the Himalayan pink salt has more minerals and stuff in it. And we are going to make something with this here in just a minute, so I can show you. This is vacuum seal. This is something else you can vacuum seal. Hear that? Smells good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of the sour cream powder. So that is our soup base. So what we're going to do at this point, we've got room for shaking there. And we're just going to shake this up. Oh yeah. You can add some cream cheese powder. They'd make butter powder, so you could add butter powder. So there's a lot of things that you can do with this, but I want to show you some of the other things you can add. Here's a cheddar cheese powder. This is excellent. You can even add a little bit of ground mustard. You can even add some of my mushroom powder. All of these things have been dehydrated and vacuum sealed. Except for the cornstarch and the milk powder. And instead of canning things with milk or dairy in it, just store a lot of milk powder. This is a pretty good version of it. Okay, so you're just going to give this a really good shake. And you can store this and vacuum seal it. You can put an oxygen absorber in here if you don't have a vacuum sealer. Put in 2 100 cc's for this half-gallon jar. And put the lid on it. Screw that down real tight. And that should seal that down. If your oxygen absorbers are good, it'll seal that down. And we're just going to take and kind of rotate this and give it a good old shake. Get your workout. Yes, get your workout. And there's something else I forgot to tell you that you could add to this. You could also add some potato flakes to this as well. And that will give you a nice thickener in here as well. It's a nice thickener for soups. Sometimes I will thicken soups up with a little bit of mashed potato powder or flakes. Okay. You do want to mix this really well. You don't want like a big clump of cornstarch in here or milk powder, and then where it doesn't get the cornstarch, or then it won't balance out correctly. Okay, so there's our soup base right there. So So we can either add the chicken base or the beef base when we do our actual meals in a jar. This is just the base, just a soup base. Now these are some of the things that you can use this for. You can use this in like hamburger helper type meals. You can use this in soups, casseroles, dips. And you just want to mix 1/3 cup mix to 1 1/4 cups of water. Again, that's 1/3 cup mix to 1 1/4 cups of water. And that makes the actual soup mix. And you can add more onions, more flakes of onions to this, and you can make a really good onion soup. This is just the base right here with nothing else added. This is the base, and the sky's the limit on this base right here. This is called cream of something soup mix right there. And we're going to make another video on how we're going to use this. This does about 7 or 8 pint jars of meals in a jar. So this is Chef and Builder Janie Pendleton. We want to thank you for joining us, and I hope that this meal in a jar video, I hope it's going to help you on how to vacuum seal. I hope that's helped you. And this is now just one more step now that you know how to do something that has to do with the dehydrating of goods. And you can go here and hit how to dehydrate. I've already done all those videos in the last 2 years. So I've got all those videos on my site. Or you can go over to my site and hit the search button in my video section, and you can just hit the word dehydrate or dehydrated, and it should pop up. My videos, all the videos I've done on that should pop up. But this is just one more step in vacuum sealing and using the oxygen absorbers in long-term food storage on how to make foods if all you have is clean boiled water. I don't know about you, but in an SHTF or WROL situation, or in a bad tornado or something happens and I'm cooking out while I'm rebuilding or something happens, these are good nutritious meals for me and my family. We can have these. They taste delicious. And when we come back, I'm going to teach you how to make actual meals out of these, okay? So we'll see you in the next video. Hit that subscribe button, because this week we're doing crock pot meals and we're learning how to vacuum seal. We're learning how to can, dry can, and we're learning all kinds of fun things to do for an emergency and for long-term food storage. Ways to store foods now while the price is down a little bit. Way to store things now that are in powdered form that can last, up to 15 years.